doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back from break. I guess you could say it was a break. Last weekend, I had the opportunity to be part of a conference that we put together at our church, and I really wanted to focus on that, and I went ahead and took the weekend off of the Cajun Conservative Show. I was busy. I really I was busy from Friday night onward to Sunday morning, when I had the chance just to sit down and rest a little bit, and we had a good time for the conference. Preached a good message, in my humble opinion. 5 loaves and 2 fishes, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I ministered on, and that was the sermon about the miracle of feeding of the 5,000. I went ahead and preached that on Saturday night, and also at the conference. Just had a real good time. The Lord moved mightily. We had some fun for that Saturday with games and all that good stuff. Had a real, like I said, this is a real good time. I have to give a good shout out, a shout out to my friend, my brother, Scott Ford from the Scott Ford Show, for filling in when I called him. He was happy to do it, and he did a phenomenal job. If you have not heard that episode yet, you should go listen to it. And he did my 200 episode. This is 201. And ladies and gentlemen, that's like I said, I gotta apologize. I wasn't here. The Lord called me to preach, and that's, like I said, I wanted to focus on that. I know you, my lovely audience, understands that. And just to miss a milestone like that. But I heard the episode. He did a great job. He did a good job filling in for the 200 episode, and now we're on the north side of 200. And that is a great milestone. The average podcast episode runs to about 30 episodes. Someone surviving on YouTube for as long as we have. Someone has the, starting off a Rumble channel and spreading this show abroad. Last time we checked, we was on the north side of the top 50 podcasts, according to FeedSpot, on conservative podcasts in America. This show has grown tremendously. And even on this episode, we are airing our first sponsorship ads, thanks to Cajun Carts. They become a sponsor of this podcast, and you're gonna hear their ads from this episode until they tell us to stop, apparently. But no, Cajun Carts, we want to thank Scotty Guidry, and the show is growing, and to see this show on this side of 200 and hitting 201 is a milestone for us. And I want to thank you, the audience, because without you, none of this would have been possible. You listening and you bringing up the numbers and all that stuff, it would not be possible for us to be on this side of 200. And I have great plans for the show. We have great plans for Brothers Just Searching. BGS Media is starting to move forward. And that's what we want. We want this thing to grow. And one of the reasons is, hopefully one day I could do this podcast like Dan Bongino and Matt Walsh and all these other guys that we admire here at the show. We could do this full time. That is one of our goals. And to do that, we need financing and stuff like that, and we're working on all that. But the Lord has blessed us. The Lord has used us, and the Lord is moving forward. And look, if you want to help the show, you can go into the description. We have a way to help the show grow. And if you want to do that, but the biggest way to help the show grow is by hitting that subscribe button or the follow button, depending on the platform you're listening on or watching on. That helps out. And also telling a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way. A lot of companies spend money with advertising. A lot of companies spend money with billboards, but you can never beat the word of mouth. I remember working in retail. We were talking about this topic, and one of my managers told me, he said, look, you can never beat the word of mouth. You can do everything great for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It don't matter. But one bad experience can turn that all around. And look, we see that with cancel culture right now. The prime example, Bud Light. Bud Light did something, in my opinion, stupid, and they, look at the backlash that they're having because of one mistake. They lost billions, well, millions. Excuse me. And then you have, like Target putting Pride material in the front, and people saying, we're not going to shop at Target. And these are people that weeks at a time will spend hundreds of dollars at Target. Now they've lost millions of dollars. So and look, I'm not with the pride issue, whatever. I'm just using those as an example. One mistake can cost you a lot of money. So to end that note, just to say, word of mouth goes a long way. Word of mouth goes a long way, and it helps out this show. It helps out Brothers Just Searching. This is why we ask for our subscriptions. This is why we ask you to watch, and this is why we ask you to share the show wherever you're at. And this helps out a lot. But again, 200 episodes, and now hitting 201. Great accomplishment. And I just want to thank you, the audience. Like I said, it would not be possible without you, and I appreciate you more than you know. So just want to go ahead and let that be heard. So let's go ahead and start the show, because there was a lot of things that happened this week. There was some things that happened while I was gone. They're not in the news cycle no more because of recent events, and I want to go ahead and talk about these things that have happened recently that I feel that show we're still part of a tutorial justice system. And I want to start off by asking, who is the special counsel that is investigating President Joe Biden's document case, which is the only thing that this special counsel that is supposedly working to see what happened with the top secret documents that were left in the garage by the Corvette. And I get a lot of debate on this with TikTok, especially when I make a video talking about the Biden, the Hunter, not the Hunter. Well, yeah, the Hunter case and the Hunter case, and also the Biden document situation. And they will say, well, Trump knew he had it and Trump refused to give it. And I say, well, Biden did as well. And they say, no, Biden willingly gave him up. And I say, after 6 years. We also know that the special counsel for the Biden document case has only spent a measly $1,000,000-something into his investigation, and there is no sign of him talking to the president anytime soon. But I just want to ask you, the audience, if you know this. And look, his name is Robert Hur, H-U-R, and he is that special counsel. Now, a lot of people would not know this because I had to look it up, and I'm big into politics. I know a lot of things that are going on in the political realm, locally, statewide, and nationally, because I'm always listening, I'm always reading, I'm always doing something like that. But I had to look this guy up, and I was wondering who this special counsel was. Now, like I said, if you, the audience, don't know, don't feel bad. I didn't know at first. But why am I bringing this up? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this week we had another indication that Donald Trump probably is going to be indicted again for a third time this year alone. Now, we already know that there's a grand jury that is in Georgia. I think they're in Atlanta as well. Donald Trump will get indicted in Georgia as well for election tampering. We already know this. We already know that he's going to get indicted, and we know why, and I'm going to explain a little bit more a little later on. But Donald Trump, there is an indication that Donald Trump probably will be indicted by the same prosecutor that looked into his document case, which is Jack Smith. And that's why I asked you, who was the special counsel in the Biden probe? Because everybody knows who Jack Smith is. The media has lifted up Jack Smith as this great hero, that he's the one that's going to take down the big orange man. Remember, it was Andy Briggs or Alvin Briggs, the DA from New York, that that took the first step into indicting the president in New York in this state case, which was really a federal case, but they brought it down and they raised misdemeanors to felonies. Remember, they did that totally opposite with Biden, Hunter Biden. They took felonies and made a misdemeanor so he would not go to jail and get a sweetheart deal. We know this by whistleblowers that are coming out that are saying, hey, the DOJ and the FBI took it easy. Even the IRS, they went ahead and stopped everything. We got whistleblower testimony this week that confirms this. We also got a whistleblower that has been indicted, just so happened after Hunter Biden. He explains what happened with Hunter Biden and Burisma. You're having all these indictments come around, but going back to Trump gets a letter this week from Jack Smith, and he says that he is the target of the investigation going into January 6th. What happened on January 6th? Well, we know that Donald Trump, allergies. We know that Donald Trump, he went ahead and he participated in Stop the Steal rally that happened on January 6th. This was and the result of that was the Capitol riot. A lot of my other friends in the media or my counterparts will call it an insurrection. You can call it whatever you want. I call it a Capitol riot. But Jack Smith is looking into this, just not looking. I thought Jack Smith was just looking into the documents case, because Jack Smith was the lead investigator on the documents that Donald Trump had. And like I said, so Jack Smith sends a letter to Donald Trump saying, look, you're the target of the January 6th investigation. We're looking into you, buddy. We believe you started January 6th. We believe you're the one that went ahead and incited violence, and you're the one that's going to go to jail for it, because you called all your supporters to Washington, D.C., and you told them to rush to the Capitol. Which is false, ladies and gentlemen. We know it's false, because Donald Trump, in his speech, said, let's march to the Capitol. He did say that, but he also said, let's go peacefully and patriotically make our voices heard. That's what Donald Trump did. Also, we know from the last town hall that CNN had with Donald Trump, which Donald Trump embarrassed the host of that town hall meeting, where she was making the claim that Donald Trump did not say nothing until his video released on Twitter. He said, when I got my Twitter back, we went back and picked up all the tweets that was deleted that we couldn't get because we didn't know we needed him. And around 2:30, I believe Eastern Standard Time, Donald Trump went on Twitter and said, look, we're the party of law. We're the party of peace. We should not be doing what we're doing. One of several tweets, apparently, that Donald Trump sent out during January 6th. But Jack Smith is still going to go ahead. It's funny how Jack Smith started this investigation, a few measly, maybe 5 months ago. And all of a sudden, he has 2 indictments on Donald Trump. He has an indictment on his document case, and he also got the case for January 6th to get indicted. It's funny how they found all this evidence, but it must be nice when you have close to $10 million to go ahead and investigate all this, while the special counsel Robert Hur is using a measly under $2 million to look into the Biden document case, where he was told, if you remember, I came on the show and talked about it, where he was told, hey, you should not go, just look at those documents. Don't look at nothing else. Don't look at Burisma. Don't look at Ukraine. Don't look at China. Only look at the document case. That was the instructions for the special counsel into the Biden probe. But Donald Trump, Jack Smith, has a free range. He can look into January 6th. He can look into the documents. Shoot, he can go ahead and look at how Donald Trump clips his toenails. He probably got his private investigator and will indict Donald Trump because he clipped his wrong toenail on the wrong day at the wrong hour. It is possible Jack Smith has all this. He has a free range to go ahead and investigate Trump. We might see another indictment of Donald Trump by Jack Smith, but for waving to the crowd when Secret Service told him not to. We don't know. And ladies and gentlemen, this indictment is just showing that we have a tutorial justice system. I mentioned it earlier. Hunter Biden, there's whistleblowers that are on Capitol Hill right now. They went ahead and talked Wednesday and confirmed a lot what the Republicans believe. We have a whistleblower that is in hiding because the DOJ just indicted him, and he said they told him they were coming after him after he comes out and says, hey, I have information on Hunter Biden. They say, oh, you didn't register being a foreign agent, which Hunter Biden did the exact same thing. He didn't register. But you have Hunter Biden sitting in the White House smoking crack, possibly, allegedly, while this man's on the run because he don't know when the DOJ is going to catch up with him. And the whistleblower yesterday, I don't have his name in front of me, but his identity was hidden until yesterday, on Wednesday, July 19th. And ladies and gentlemen, you have these people that are running for their lives because they talking about Hunter Biden, but you have Hunter Biden, again, possibly smoking crack in the White House and living at the White House by doing crimes and getting a slap on the hand wrist and saying, hey, you good, you're fine. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just sad where our country has come. Jack Smith is held up as a hero while you have an investigator that people don't even know his name. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the White House is trying to claim with all these indictments and all this stuff that it is replacing. It claims that it claims rule of law has been restored after DOJ targets Trump. So the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre claimed President Joe Biden restored the rule of law just hours after former President Donald Trump announced being a target in the Justice Department in the January 6th probe. That is from Breitbart. Ladies and gentlemen, is the White House, did the president really restore the rule of law after Donald Trump left? It's kind of funny. He is ignoring laws at the southern border. He is ignoring laws when it comes to his son and other things. But he restored the rule of law because he placed Donald Trump. In his eyes, he has put Donald Trump in his place with his DOJ. Ladies and gentlemen, this indictment this week, this statement that the rule of law has been restored is a bunch of baloney. Why do I say that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how the one that they're restoring law to, with air quotes, is his chief political rival. Donald Trump is winning poll after poll after poll. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all thanks to the Democrat Party. Why do I say that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this story right here, when I heard that Donald Trump was possibly be back indicted and he was the target of another investigation and that the indictment possibly was coming, I text the guest host of last week, Scott Ford, I couldn't remember his name. Scott, I text Scott and said, Scott, you know, when I read stories like this, I think about supporting Donald Trump. I am a DeSantis supporter. Me and Scott does difference on who he thinks better for the nation, but we still talk and we still bounce off our opinions. Scott went ahead and said, Scott gave me a thumbs up, and I was like, no, I'm thinking, but it goes to a good point. How many, the Democrats are trying so hard to take out Donald Trump. They're trying so hard, but all their efforts always bring Donald Trump's poll numbers up. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, people see this as a political attack, not as a rule of law, as the White House claims. They look at this as a political attack, and they think that that Biden is using the DOJ, FBI, the IRS, and other government entities to try to stop Donald Trump. And guess what? I believe he's right. I believe that's right. I believe that the people are seeing that Biden is using his government influence as the commander in chief to stop Donald Trump, and that's why Donald Trump numbers keep going up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, people look at this as political attacks, not as the rule of law being restored. If it was, Donald Trump's numbers would be going down. This also goes to the question that if Joe Biden is the most voted president in ever, why isn't the country supporting what the DOJ and everyone of them doing to Donald Trump? Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has a good lead over Ron DeSantis and over all the other candidates, Tim Scott and whoever else. and the Democrats can thank themselves. Because I've already said this. You know how the best way to beat Donald Trump is to not talk about him. Leave him alone. Donald Trump makes news on his own when he tweets and all that stuff. But if you go ahead and stop the investigations, if you go ahead and you stop talking about him 24/7, his poll numbers probably going to go down. This is all free publicity. And it feeds to the narrative that he's pushing out there that, look, they're after me. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this on TikTok right when the news came out. If they're after Donald Trump this hard, I wonder what he has on the establishment. Because like I said, it's making me wonder, hey, should we support this man or not? Because if everybody's going after him, he might be good for the country. Who knows? I've already said, if he's the Republican nominee, I'm going to vote for him. So we're going to have to wait and see. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor. We'll be back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Case here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Carts has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Evangel Thruway, Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, Easy Go, Crushman, and Gloria dealer in the Lafayette area. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or a service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself on its superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 to explore the options for your next karting adventures. You also can look them up on the web at CajunCarts.com. We want to thank Scotty Guidry and Cajun Carts for their generous support of this program.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Louisiana I am proud of. Republicans in Louisiana have done something right for the first time in a long while. Now we know that the Republicans in our state, in this great state of Louisiana, they are handicapped in some way, shape, or form because of the governor of Louisiana. But we know that the Republican Party here in the state of Louisiana has veto power, both in the House and the Senate, to override a governor veto, and they have done it in a rare move. This is according to Daily Wire. Louisiana lawmakers override Democrat governor's veto of child sex change ban in rare vote. So the way we do this here in Louisiana, I don't know about every other state, but I know in Louisiana, if the governor vetoes something, automatically it goes to a veto session. And this is the third straight year that the Louisiana Senate and House congressional leaders have went into veto session because the governor has vetoed something. It was, I believe, last year they had two main bills that the reason they went into veto session. Well, this year it was this bill. If you remember early in the year, we talked about State Senator Fred Mills, who is my state senator, unfortunately. And look, I have to admit this, and because people might hold this over my head, but at the time when he ran, I thought Fred was a good candidate, and I voted for him for state senate. But now Fred has backstabbed every Republican. He is not running again. This is why I've come on the podcast and said we need to elect conservatives like Blake Miguez, who is running for my Senate seat. We have scheduled Blake. Blake will be on the show to talk about his conservative views and his vision for Louisiana. But ladies and gentlemen, going back to that, but Fred Mills stopped this bill in his committee. It went through another committee, which went to the Senate floor. The Senate floor passed it. The House passed it, and it went to the governor's desk. And the governor, no surprisingly, said he would veto it. He made a whole lengthy statement about he was going to look at it and all. No, I knew he was going to veto this, but he vetoed it because, according to him, he believed that this is an issue in Louisiana, and we have not had a transgender surgery that I'm aware of here in the state of Louisiana. But the governor was like, "Hey, this isn't a problem, so why make a law stopping it?" It's the same reason when you see a rattlesnake 20 feet away, you either run the opposite way or you take care of the rattlesnake. Now, there might be some of my snake-loving friends out there. I'm not promoting hurting animals. I'm just saying, it's the same thing in Louisiana. We see a cottonmouth, we don't think twice. We grab a shovel or a shotgun. Because cottonmouths are very dangerous snakes here in the state of Louisiana. So, you see it 20 minutes away, 20 feet away, that snake ain't a problem. But the snake's slithering to the park. I'm going to worry about it when it gets to the park. No, the governor, that was the crop out that the governor was saying so he wouldn't have to veto. Why? Because the state of Louisiana people might say, well, he's pro-life, he's pro-gun. Besides those two things, he's woke as any other Democrat governor out there. John Bel Edwards is not a good governor for the state of Louisiana. And look, he's in his last terms. I'm leaning towards Jeff Landry, but at the same time, I have invited other gubernatorial candidates on here. We're trying to schedule some to talk. I'm going to probably be meeting some in a couple of days because about a month or some because there's a big event that's around my neighborhood and I'm having the pleasure of going. But you go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. This governor's woke, and this is why we need a good conservative governor. But going back to this veto, the bill called Stop Harming Our Kids Act will prevent doctors from performing transgender procedures like double mastectomies on girls who identify as boys and administering public blockers or cross-secting hormones for children. It did pass, like I said, it passed the House side 75-23 to override the veto, with 69 Republicans being joined by 6 Democrats in the Senate. Lawmakers voted 28-11 to adopt the measure. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is against the law to have, for minors, I have to say this correctly, for minors to not have transgender surgeries. And see, this is one thing on the left as well. We restrict young people from buying handguns. We restrict young people from driving cars until a certain age. We restrict, to drink alcohol. We restrict for smoking. The government goes ahead and is okay with people restricting things that are going to hurt children. Except on this, the left will go ahead and say, well, you got to let them have their mind open. You got to let them think for themselves. You got to, ladies and gentlemen, from 10 to 18, kids don't know what they want. If you ask a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14 years old, hey, what's your plans for your future? They will tell you one week they're doing something and the next they're doing something else. Well, Isaac, you sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm a youth minister. I talk to young people on a regular basis. But ladies and gentlemen, it goes to the point that some of these kids are confused about what they want to do for the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have these people. You have these people that are advocating that minors have a life alternate surgery. It's bonkers to me. And I think Louisiana did right, especially the right on the lawmakers that are on the right on this case. They look, we've seen a problem that is happening all over the nation. Let's tackle it now before it becomes an issue. But according to the governor and some in the Republican Party, they want to go ahead, and I'm talking about Fred Mills, kick the can down the road or trust the doctor's instinct in that patient. So, and like that, the reason I say this too, because you're gonna have people on the left. The only thing they're gonna say is that the Louisiana legislature overrides a veto that bans transgender surgery. You're gonna have to laugh. Oh my goodness, they're taking away our rights. No, if you're an adult and 18 years old and you want that, hey, you are an adult. You can do that. But having kids make the decision, no, it shouldn't be that way. All right, moving on. Oh, let me go ahead and get to my notes. We talked about the whistleblower earlier, and this is a funny story that I saw, and I thought was pretty interesting. Comey says FBI veteran confirms key whistleblower claims from Hunter Biden case. This is from the Daily Wire. A former FBI surveillance agent confirmed key aspect of the whistleblower's testimony about a federal investigation of President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, according to top Republicans. House Oversight Committee Chairman Jim Comey said the FBI veteran participated in a transcript interview with his panel on Monday, just 2 days before the pair of International Reserve servants, whistleblowers, are set to testify about the inquiry. So what's going on right here, ladies and gentlemen, is that, as I said, June 19th, we talked about it in the last segment a little bit. There was a Senate committee hearing, and Jim Jordan and a few other lawmakers shared the live stream. They wanted people to see it. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Work, I have to pay the bills. So, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. And Jim Comey and all these people, they had these whistleblowers, and these whistleblowers were telling stories of what happened in the Hunter Biden case. And what I'm hearing in the articles that I've seen, it was very revealing. Now, the Democrats have said this is all hogwash, which goes to a point. It's funny how anything against Hunter Biden is political. The only reason the Republicans are doing this is to get at Biden and get at his family because they don't want Biden. This is all political. They don't want Biden for president. It's all political. But indicting Donald Trump multiple times is not political. This is justice. It's justice. We have to have justice in the rule of law for everybody. Remember Nancy Pelosi? Nobody's above the law unless you're a Democrat and you're Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. All right, moving on, though. But they had this whistleblower, and there was a lot of key things. But one of the things that came out before the hearing was this article where this FBI says the night before the interview of Hunter Biden, both Secret Service headquarters and the Biden transit team was tipped off. Funny how they got tipped off about the planned interview. Comey added, on the day of the Hunter Biden interview, federal agents were told to stand by and could not approach Hunter Biden. They had to wait for his call. As a result of the change in plans, the IRS, the FBI criminal investigators never got to interview Hunter Biden as part of the interview. Such claims line up with testimonies from the IRS officials supervising Special Agent Gary Sharpley, and a whistleblower ex, who we now know the identity. This is an old article, who made the disclaimer to the House Ways and Means Committee that they were released to the public last month. Plans by Shipley and the FBI supervising agent Joe Gordon to interview young Biden in November 2020, shortly after the presidential election was allegedly disrupted, and gave way to the Biden announcing publicly that he was under investigation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't live in a tutorial justice system. Somehow or another, Biden got tipped off. And it was told to Hunter Biden, hey, the Secret Service and other people, hey, don't say nothing. They called him. They told him to stand down. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that Hunter Biden did, if a regular American citizen would have done, would have been put in jail. It's that simple. Remember, I talked about the rapper that lied to get a gun. He went to jail for like 3 years. Hunter Biden got a slap on the wrist. And it's funny how things happen. When Hunter Biden when they started this investigation, they wanted to talk to Hunter Biden, and nope, you can't talk to him. And apparently they still haven't talked to him. Ladies and gentlemen, don't we live in a tutorial justice system now? And this is why the Democrats are upset about these whistleblowers. And like I said, I'm always going to bring this out because remember, you that are on the left that listen to this show, you're going to tell me, oh, whistleblowers, all these whistleblowers are biased. They just don't like Hunter Biden. They don't like Joe Biden. No, these whistleblowers, these whistleblowers are criminals. All these whistleblowers, I even had one to say that to me on TikTok. All y'all whistleblowers, they're criminals. IRS agents and FBI agents are criminals? No, the one that didn't register as a foreign agent. Oh, like Hunter Biden did. And the left all goes ahead and says, oh, these whistleblowers. You're making too much of these whistleblowers. But when Donald Trump had a whistleblower, one or two whistleblowers come out and say, hey, we know something about Donald Trump. You had seen in breaking news, whistleblower comes out and accused Donald Trump of something. It's kind of funny how whistleblowers are credible witnesses when Donald Trump was in office. But now that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden is facing whistleblowers, they're not that important. Now, and like I said, these whistleblowers is going to be a thorn in the Biden administration side. All right, so I want to talk about Biden economics. I've been hearing a lot about the Biden economics. Joe Biden has been plastering all over Twitter charts of how the market is booming. The economy is on a, he says we're building the economy from the bottom on up and from inward on out. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're talking really at the bottom, he really did. He really mad at the bottom. Because if you remember the first year Joe Biden was in there, our inflation went through the roof. It peaked out at 9.1. That's really starting at the bottom. We're going to raise the inflation rate for you, the American citizen, to suffer. And then we're going to put you way at the bottom. Now we're going to build you up by lowering down inflation. Like I think inflation's hit like at 6.2, 6.3 what right now. And all my friends on the left, they will say, well, Isaac, you're not talking about the inflation going down. Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about it because he brought it up to begin with. It's kind of like this, okay? It's like you causing a problem, you're cleaning it up, and you say, look, I cleaned up the problem, but you're the one that started the problem. But you have been having this little catchphrase, the Biden economics. And Biden, yes, like I said, has been going on Twitter and other places and saying, oh, my economy's good. My economy's great. My economy's growing. We have the more jobs than we ever did before. We have the higher wages than ever before. And ladies and gentlemen, if you follow politics any way, shape, or form, you're going to know that that is a hunk of baloney. And Biden has been called on that. President Biden took to Twitter Monday to tweet about his economical policies and the impact Biden economics was having the workers' wage over the last 2 years. His self-praise was short-lived, however, as Twitter fact-checkers said it contains a faulty error. This was the tweet. Right now, real wages for the average American worker is higher than it was before the pandemic, with lower wages workers seeing the largest gains, the president wrote on Twitter. That's Biden economics. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but when Trump was in office, people were getting paid. People's wages were going up. The inflation was at 1.2. And people were prospering. See, a lot of people, all they remember of Donald Trump, of his bad economical plans, was that he tweeted mean tweets. And that he was a big, bad orange man. And Donald Trump was so wrong with this country. But our gas prices were under $2 up here in Louisiana, and they were under $3 in a lot of places. We had the economy growing at a fast rate, which is kind of funny. The left would say, oh, look, the economy growing fast could lead us into a recession. We weren't in a recession like right now. Because I still tell people, man, with -2 GDP growth, and we haven't been getting good GDP growth. We're kind of in somewhat of a semi-recession. We're not going to talk about it. Nope. Biden economics. Hey, if you want to, Biden economics, that's good. Let's call it that because he owns this. Twitter community notes added content for readers that said the tweet claim about real wages contains a faulty error. On 3/15/20, when U.S. COVID lockdown began, real wages adjust for inflation AFV were 11.15. As of 7/16/23, real wages of AF are 11.05. The Twitter note continued. It added real wages AFI remains lower, not higher, than before the pandemic. Several users commented on the tweet, pointing out that the inflation has risen to a historical high under the Biden administration. The Republican Party responded, since Biden took office, real wages are down 3%. That is the real Biden economics. And ladies and gentlemen, I quoted the Twitter first. Remember Twitter? Of course, Elon Musk got it now. The left's like, oh, Elon Musk is gonna lie and everything. But this article also says in June, Biden claimed he cut the deficit by 1.7, which the Washington Post rated highly misleading. And the claim was similarly scrutinized by fact checkers. He also taunted the impact of his new 988 suicide hotline, which was signed into law by former President Trump, and previously said healthcare was a right, not a privilege in this country. Twitter community notes said Biden has never publicly supported universal health care or Medicaid for all, and has suggested he would veto bills that implement such a system. So, ladies and gentlemen, Biden economics. Is the economy doing well? No. The dollar's dropping. The net quick is dropping. All this stuff's dropping. And he's saying that wages are higher than before the pandemic. No, they're not, ladies and gentlemen. People are suffering. There's more and more people that are trying to get on the food stamps or the EBT. There's more people trying to get Medicaid. America is in a bad place. But instead of the president opening up and being honest about this stuff, he's going to go ahead and say, nope, I have the greatest economy since well before the pandemic, which we know when the pandemic really hit in the beginning of January 2020. The only reason I know that is I made a statement on Brothers Just Searching at the time saying that 2020 was going to be special. And boy, I was not wrong. And I'm not talking about special in a good way. All of us want to forget 2020. But before 2020 and 2019, the economy was at its high. Let's say it like this. It took a national disaster or a pandemic to bring down Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wouldn't, if COVID wouldn't have happened in 2020, Donald Trump still would be president this day, and we'd probably be talking about a President DeSantis and whoever's running in the Democratic side. But ladies and gentlemen, it took a pandemic to bring down Donald Trump. And the only reason it took the pandemic because Donald Trump wanted to keep the economy open, and the Democrats and some Republicans are like, nope, we need to shut down the economy. And that's why the jobs tanked like they did, because the pandemic caused people to lose their jobs or to get laid off. But you have Biden, and which I knew they were going to do. You have Biden talking about their Biden economics out. He has more jobs created than any other president. He's forgetting that little stat of 2020 when he wasn't president, and that he probably was one of them that said, hey, we need to shut down the economy to save the world and to save the United States from everybody dying under this president. Which they forget to, it's funny how the count number automatically turned off the TVs or Fox News and CNN when President Biden got into office. So the death count didn't matter no more. But ladies and gentlemen, President Biden taunting that he has raised the wages and he has more jobs. That's all baloney. President Biden's economical plans and President Biden's spending, because look, it has been announced that he's going to cut almost $800 billion in loans, which the Supreme Court has already said he can't do. But he already said, I'm going to defy the Supreme Court, and I'm going to find a loop around to go ahead and forgive you, the students, $800 billion of student loans, which is going into the total of the debt. But that's okay. He got $3 trillion, $4 trillion extra dollars to spend on the debt. So I guess he thinks he can just, hey, forgive them debts. We'll put it on that. Ladies and gentlemen, this president, you have to ask the question, are you better now than you were before Biden got into office? And majority of you, the listener, will probably say, no, we're not better. And look, I don't want to hear people on the left say, oh, well, Donald Trump was worse because Donald Trump did mean tweets. I would gladly take a mean tweet to get $1.79 a gallon gas back right now. And ladies and gentlemen, Biden's economical plans are failing America. And like I said, look, the inflation went to 9.1, the highest it's been since Jimmy Carter. The people are suffering. More people are looking for government assistance because they can't pay their bills and buy their food. Groceries are up. But according to Biden, we're A-OK. If we was in a socialistic country, you could agree with Biden, we were A-OK. But we're not. We're in America. And people are suffering. And it's all because of the man that's sitting in the White House right now. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Case here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Carts has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Evangel Thruway, Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, Easy Go, Crushman, and Gloria dealer in the Lafayette area. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or a service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself on its superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 to explore the options for your next karting adventures. You also can look them up on the web at CajunCarts.com. We want to thank Scotty Guidry and Cajun Carts for their generous support of this program.
You're my peace of mind. when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. So this is an older story, but I was told this by a listener, and I thought I should go ahead and bring this out. Biden authorized military to call reserves to active duty to support Ukraine in war. President Joe Biden on Thursday, this was of last week, issued an executive order authorizing the Pentagon to call reserves to active duty for effective conduct of U.S. military support to Ukraine. I thought, and this is just me, you know, I thought the president said we were not going to send troops to Ukraine to support their war of Russia. Now, we know this war has been going on a year. We know at the G7 summit, Zelensky, well, no, not the G7, the NATO meeting, Zelensky showed up, and Zelensky was like, I want to be part of NATO. Y'all need to make me part of NATO. Biden even said, look, it's not a good time for you to be part of NATO, but Ukraine wants to be part of NATO. Now, they accepted Turkey and other countries, but Zelensky, for some reason, is fighting to get in NATO, and he's using President Biden for a reason. Now, I believe there's something shady going on in the backwoods because, you know, President Biden has been proven through whistleblowers and through other investigations that the Biden family has racked up millions upon millions of dollars, and some of that was done in Ukraine. And it's funny how Zelensky is telling Biden, hey, I need money, 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 and Biden, for some reason, with no questions asked, just keeps sending money to them. Now, all of a sudden, President Biden signs an executive order sending troops, or possibly sending some of our reserve members, some of our military, to Ukraine. Isn't that kind of fun? Is that kind of winky-dinky? I'm not trying to talk as a child, but I'm just saying there's something going on in Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen, and Zelensky has it at the forefront. Now, Zelensky has been held up as a leader because he's standing up to Putin and he's fighting this war, and Ukraine hasn't lost. And look, I'm glad. Like, I don't think people should be put into a socialistic country. I don't think I'm glad they didn't just bend down the knee to Putin. But, ladies and gentlemen, there's something going on here. Because remember, Biden said, I believe it was last year, said something like he was not going to send any troops to Ukraine. But now we're authorizing support to Ukraine by our reserves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he already made the world know that we're short on some types of ammunition. Now we're trying to ramp up the production to get this ammunition. Now he's going to send our troops, the people that are reserved to protect us here in the country if something happens, to Ukraine. Well, I just got the National Guard. It wouldn't surprise me he sent them either. But it's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny that now Biden is sending troops to Ukraine. Now, I got that from Breitbart. I read, but I had the White House document, or the White House news story from the White House that they were doing this. Because you're gonna have people say, certain people say, oh, well, you know, Isaac, that's not true. That's not true whatsoever. All right, let's move on. Trump praises GOP challenger, says he could be placed for him in the next administration. This comes from Fox News, and Fox News went ahead, and this was from 3 days ago, which would have been Monday, I believe it was. Former President Donald Trump praises Senator Tim Scott, Republican from South Carolina, and says the 2024 candidate may be a good fit in Trump's own administration if he wins the White House. Trump made the comments during an appearance on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures with host Maretta Brenamoro. I don't watch Fox News on Sundays. Trump complimented some in the Republican Party field during the interview, saying he believed that many of his fellow candidates were talented people, and hinted that he was already having thoughts about a potential running mate. Is there anyone on that stage you see a potential running mate as your VP? The host asks. Possibly. I mean, I think you have some good people on the stage. Actually, I think you have some very talented people. I've been impressed by some of them. Some of them I'm very friendly with, Trump responded. Actually, a number of them called me up not to ask for permission, but sort of ask for permission. They call me up not to ask for permission, but sort of ask for permission to say they would like to do it. A number of people up there. I'm not going to embarrass them by saying who, but no, I think we have good people. I think we have good potential cabinet members to actually do that. Do you see yourself perhaps with the Senator Tim Scott, the host acts? I think he's a very good guy. We did have opportunity zones together. It's never been talked about. It's one of the most stressful economical development things ever done in this country, and Tim is very good. I mean, I could see Tim doing something with the administration, but he is right now campaigning. But Tim is a talented guy, and you have other very talented people. So why am I bringing this story up? It's just kind of funny to me, okay? Ron DeSantis is one of the best governors here in the country. I believe Ron DeSantis would be a good president. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that Ron DeSantis could do great things for the nation. I think Ron DeSantis would right now be the best candidate for president. That is my view. Now, I'm not going to come over this microphone. I've already said this. I'm not going to trash Donald Trump. I have already said Donald Trump is my number 2 guy. If Ron DeSantis today would say, look, I am dropping out, I don't think Tim Scott has the capability of being president. I don't think anybody else in the go. I think it's either Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. That is your 2 for the Republican Party. I even think if one or the other would ask each other to be VP, that would be a dynamic duel. If Ron DeSantis would become the VP of Donald Trump would win the White House hands down. Because the top 2 contestants right now for the Republican Party is Trump and DeSantis. If you put their numbers together, they smoke Donald Trump. And Chris Christie's 1% polling would go to the Democrat side, but I don't think we're really worried about that because you would even have some independents that would come across into that realm. Say, look, we might not like Donald Trump, but we like Ron DeSantis. We think Ron DeSantis could do that. Do I see them being VP and president? No, I don't see that. I don't see Donald Trump being VP whatsoever. But going back to what I was saying, Donald Trump praises everybody else in the Republican Party. Everybody. He goes ahead and he praises Tim Scott. He praises everybody else except Chris Christie and Ron DeSantis. He praises all these. He praises every other, even Nikki Haley. He praises Nikki Haley. I'm not against Nikki Haley. I think Nikki Haley would be a good cabinet member. She was already. She has proven her role in that. But Donald Trump to come out and say, hey, I like Tim Scott. Tim Scott, some people call for my permission. Like Donald Trump had to give them permission to run for president. And if Donald Trump would have told them, no, you're not going to run, they would have said, oh, yes, great and mighty Trump. Oh, yes, great and mighty Trump. We're not going to run for president because you have told us no. And that's one reason why I'm not supporting Donald Trump as my first candidate, because I think Donald Trump is arrogant in that. Like, people have to go to him, and they have to go ahead and ask his permission. No, they don't. They can run for president. It's a free country. I could run for president if I want. I've had presidential candidates on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump does not have to give people permission to run for president. But according to Donald Trump, he thinks they have to. He thinks that's the sole purpose of him right now. He's letting them run so they have candidates for people that don't like him that can vote. Donald Trump honestly thinks that this Republican primary should not even happen. All the candidates should drop out and he should just be the sole runner. But that's not how this country works to begin with. Now, look, I'm not, like I said, I'm not against Donald Trump. Donald Trump's my number 2 guy. I like Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump's policies work. Is he the best fit for the president right now? I don't believe so. I think Ron DeSantis is. But going back to the article, I think, or in this interview, Donald Trump, yes, he's right. There's a lot of talented people that are running for the Republican presidential candidate right now. Any one of them will be better, well, except Chris Christie. Chris Christie's a joke in my opinion. All he's saying, his whole platform is I'm against Donald Trump, and he thinks he's going to win. But he's only have less than 1%. The only reason he's going to probably get on the stage is because of his name and that he's going to be on there. There's possible he won't even make it on the stage. I don't know. You have mainstream media puffing him up because they want Chris Christie to run for president because he can lose against Joe Biden. That's all the reason why the media is puffing up. And also he's going against Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, Trump he's right. There is some good talented people in there. But the problem with it is, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, he's ignoring the main factor in this whole thing, too. The only reason he's going against Ron DeSantis is because I believe Ron DeSantis could beat him. Now, people, and look, Republicans fall for this all the time when they try to prove their point. Oh, what about the polls? Donald Trump got the straw poll in this. Donald Trump. The only poll that matters is on election day. And in the primary, okay, let's use for example, if Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, now, because they have some numbers that show Ron DeSantis is not gaining donations that much. Okay, I understand that, donation money and all that. That's good. That is a good factor. Donald Trump is getting more than millions. Donald Trump is getting more than he's outperforming Biden and any other Republican candidate. I understand that. But in reality, if they go to the first primary and Ron DeSantis wins, Ron DeSantis has a very good shot. But if Ron DeSantis also loses by maybe 1 or 2 points, now, if you go to the first primary and he blows everybody out the water, you wait for a couple of more primaries and you're going to start seeing these people start dropping out. Hey, we're not going to run for president because of this. I'm losing here. I'm losing there. But Donald Trump should be praising Ron DeSantis as well. Now, he didn't mention, he maybe did mean, but I don't see it. I don't see it because Donald Trump and his supporters are some of the most brutal people. And I'm not talking about people that listen to this show. I'm just saying some people in Donald Trump's section calls Ron DeSantis his nickname that Donald Trump gave him. And I don't think that's right. You should go because you don't want to make Ron DeSantis damaged goods. We don't want Ron DeSantis to be another Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin had so much potential, but she became damaged goods because of what the media did to her. And ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump needs to go on a thin line. Like I said, look, I would love to see Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis on a ticket. I think that would be a dynamic duel. It would work out. You have President Trump knows he could trust Ron DeSantis because they both believe on the same lines. That's just my view. I think Donald Trump saying, "Oh, I praise every other challenger except Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie." I don't see it makes Donald Trump in this article makes Donald Trump look bad. And look, I know I got a lot of friends that are Donald Trump supporters. Oh, I love y'all guys, but that's just how I feel on this. Why praise? I noticed that he praises everybody after Ron DeSantis. Why? He possibly feels Ron DeSantis is the threat that can take him away from him getting back to the White House. All right. Jason Aldean went ahead and made a new song, and the song is called Try That in a Small Town. And this the country artist had some backlash from it. I went and listened to the song, and it's a pretty catchy tune. It's a country rock vibe, and it's basically talking about the riots that happen in the big cities. And basically what Jason Aldean said, he said, try this in a small town. Try this in a small town and see what see if you get away with it, basically. And he shows pictures of the riots back in 2020 and riots since then. And the song has hit #1, and there's a reason why it has hit #1, but we're going to explain that in a little bit. But according to some of the leftist politicians, Jason Aldean did wrong by doing this song. The 46-year-old country singer released a music video for his new 3-minute song on Friday, which deals with riots in the United States, as well as the random violence in some of the country's biggest cities since 2020. The song takes a sober tone as Aldean opens the video standing in front of a government building with images from the news report of carjacking displays behind him. Headlines that surfaced claiming the song was pro-lynching, racist, and more. The country star posted a lengthy statement on Twitter on Tuesday slamming these claims as marvelous and dangerous. In the past 24 hours, I have been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that has been out since May and was subject to the compassion that I directly quote was not too pleased with the nationwide BML protests, Aldean tweeted. This reference is not only malice, I can't say that word, forgive me, but dangerous. There's not a single lyric in the song that refers to race or points it to, and there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage. And while I can try and respect others to have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far, he added. As many pointed out, I was presented at Route 91 where so many lives there lost, and our community recently suffered another heartbreaking tragedy. Aldean continued, no one, including me, wants to continue to see senseless headlines of families ripped apart. So, ladies and gentlemen, the left, this target the left. If you watch the video, like I said, it's a real good video. It's a real good song. And ladies and gentlemen, he's talking, and he's right. He is talking. Ladies and gentlemen, he's just it was basically saying like he's tired of seeing all this mess. Now we know Jason Aldean is ultra conservative. He is, I say ultra conservative. He is more conservative than a lot of others. He's part of the Buck Commander. He's good friends with Luke Bryan, Willie Robinson, and all these other people. So we know his political views are on the lines of conservatives, and we know that he did not like the BML rallies. We know all that. We know all that from what his views are. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the left, what got me about this, the left can go ahead and make a movie, can make a song, can make anything. Could make anything that could prove their point. Disney has spent the last couple of years and lost almost $1 billion on making movies that are pushing the LGBTQ community and their lifestyle. If you notice that, Buzz Lightyear, Strange Worlds, all this stuff, they have been pushing, and they've been praised by the left. Oh, they're pushing the agenda. That's how they would probably say, but they're pushing the oneness, they're pushing love, they're pushing, and it's all right. But when a conservative goes ahead and makes a song or makes a movie, because we've seen this with the Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom, I've talked to somebody that watched it. They said they have some parts they disagreed with. There was some language that they disagreed with, but at the same time, it showed a lot what was going on in the country, and the left is furious. Because a conservative-driven movie is making more money than their propaganda. And ladies and gentlemen, this right here, this is showing the hypocrisy on the left. It's okay for the left to go ahead and make a movie. It's all right for the left to make a song that shows that their side of things. But when a conservative goes ahead and does it, he is a racist, homophobic bigot, and he's promoting lynching, which is not in the song. I've heard the song. I watched the video multiple times. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Aldean just wrote a song about his feelings and his conservative views. But according to the left, that's wrong. You should not politicize songs. You should not politicize movies. You should not politicize all this stuff. It's funny that they do it, but we can't do it. We can't make a movie or a song that talks about our political views, but the left can go ahead and do all they want. It's the same thing with Christians in the athletic world. You had Colin Kaepernick kneeling on the ground. You have certain athletes coming out and saying they don't like America. You have all these athletes. You have people coming out and saying things, and they're praised and they're lifted up and they're saying, "Oh, you're wonderful. You're amazing because you took a stand and you went ahead and you made sure that your views were heard. You did the American way." But conservative Christians come out and say, "Hey, we're not going to kneel. We're not going to go ahead and wear the flag. We're not going to the pride flag. We're not going to. Oh, y'all bigots! You're not sharing love with one another." It's just kind of funny that we have people on the left, we have people that go ahead and say you should not share your views or you're gonna get canceled. Why do I say that? CMT pulls Jason Aldean's tried that in a small town video. That's right, CMT goes ahead and plays things. This is from Todd Stearns. It is unclear how many times CNN played the video before pulling it on Monday. Billboard reported others that confirming that the outlet had yanked the video. CMT declined to comment on the decision to cease playing the clip. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't watch CMT anyway, but the reason they pulled it out was because the people on the left were criticizing it as racist lynching videos. Ladies and gentlemen, and we don't live in a cancel culture where if you're a conservative, you can go ahead, but let some country artist that is woke write a song about how there's injustice in the black community or injustice in America. I'm saying that. Now, the only good thing about this, and this article released the other day, Jason Aldean tried that in a small town, shoots to #1, aim backlash. The new music video of his song, Jason Aldean's songs, Try That in a Small Town, with anti-riot lyrics that slam leftist politics, has skyrocketed to the #1 spot on iTunes charts, aim backlash against the singer. Ladies and gentlemen, you know why it went to #1? It's not because it was controversial. It's because people, I didn't know about it until this whole controversy started. It went to #1 because people want to hear it because they are more right-leaning instead of left-leaning. And I think a lot of Americans see the hypocrisy in this. And it goes to the narrative that if people are more progressive, left-leaning, socialistic people in America, why did this song reach #1? Why didn't it tank? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to point, to this social culture war. America is tired of this. America is tired of the left trying to push things down our throat, and more Americans are conservative than leftists. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's sad that we have to see this in a music video, that America shoots that to #1, and and that even videos, you see videos skyrocket, conservatives, The Sound of Freedom. Last time I looked, made over $50 million more. They're making more money than Indiana Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, America is tired of this leftist leaning propaganda, mind-driven, idiotic, whatever you want, stories or propaganda that they're pushing. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why Jason Aldean's song went up to #1. Because America is not far left-leaning as you would think. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end this episode. That's all the time we have for this morning. Thank you for listening to the show. Again, as I said in the first segment, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the show. Tell your friends. That helped out more than you know. Also, if you want to support this podcast through financial means, you can go ahead and look in the description. Also, thank you to Cajun Carts, our new sponsor. You can go ahead and check them out at CajunCarts.com. There are some good guys. Listen to the ad and get their information if you're in the Lafayette area. And go check out Scotty's inventory and tell him Isaac Hayes sent you. So with that being said, we want to thank you again. Please remember, Jesus Christ is King, and he's coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.
And he